Hi guys, how you doing? I'm Kevin from Team Stomping Grounds, sitting here with Rob from Team Stomping Grounds.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And we're going to be doing a little pregame interview here for our IG/Astra Militarum Guard versus versus Tyranids. What was the Tyranid list exactly?
It was, I think it's the Skyblight or something?
Skyblight Tyranids. Alright, so Rob, just some questions for you here. What do you think has, who do you think has the advantage between the two armies?
Well, knowing how many flying monstrous creatures he has and what little anti-air is in my list, I definitely think he's got the advantage here.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Which unit are you going to rely on most to win it for you?
I mean, I think it's going to come down to the two blob squads because they're the only thing that I can reliably use to shoot at those flying monstrous creatures. Without them, it's going to be really tough for me to put enough wounds on all those flyers to make a difference.
Right on, right on. And what are you most concerned about going into the game?
Just my lack of knowledge with Guard in general. This will be my actual first game playing with Imperial Guard. I mean, I've seen it played, I've played against it, but this is my actual first time running the list.
Okay, right on. And what's your general strategy going to be going into this game? What is your plan going against all the flying monstrous creatures that he's running, and with the Flyrants, the Crones, the Harpies, and then the mass respawnable gargoyles?
Well, my main plan going into it's going to be don't get tied up shooting at the flying monstrous creatures if I can avoid it. If I get good options to take out troops, I'm going to take out troops.
Okay. And what's your plan going into going into turn one and going first or second?
Well, with the mission packet, it's you score at the beginning of every turn. So I think if I can get first turn, I'm going to take it and start scoring early. Don't give him 2 turns to push into my my zone and start contesting me. So to get as many points early as I can.
All right. Thanks a lot, Rob, and good luck in the game.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Hi guys, how's it going? It's Kevin from Team Stomping Grounds, sitting here with Justin Cook of Team Stomping Grounds, Torn of Fire fame, various other accolades. Nova.
ETC.
Yeah, there you go. ETC America member. And he's going to be playing Skyblight Tyranids. Now, before I ask any of our normal questions, Justin, what is your opinion on Nova allowing things like Skyblight, the formations, and the data slates?
I think the formations are going to be really helpful to certain armies. I think to Tyranids it's going to be a big boost, especially. I think other armies having the availability to get maybe some extra flyers, or maybe to get you can ally Talon and grab some broadsides that gives you a lot of extra volume of fire. It grabs a Riptide that gives you some Skyfire ability. I think those will be really valuable. Some of them don't really matter that much. Even some of the Tyranid ones really are not that good. I think Skyblight's probably the best out of them. So I think in general it's a good idea. I think making it your ally is appropriate, and then also I know Nova and Las Vegas Open, Reese's tournament, Reese Robbins out on the West Coast, his tournaments like Las Vegas Open, Bay Area Open are going to be running something called a 2-source format, where you can only take two sources, like a primary and an ally. You can't primary ally Inquisition, Imperial Knight, Lost in the Damned, everything, You're basically, you don't have to carry the library of like 6 books with you to play 40k. I think it's going to be really nice. It's going to help the average player not get confused by 6,500 different special rules from 6 different codexes and supplements and data slates. That kind of stuff is going to be nice. I think in general it's good for the community.
All right, cool.
Hey guys, it's Chance here.
And as always, it's Jesse.
And we're going to bring another battle report for you guys now. I got yelled at for this the last time. Rob, on the top side of the screen, is playing the the Astra Militarum Codex, along with Imperial Knight right there. You can see pretty spicy right there in the middle of the field. I'm going to love seeing one of these guys in the battle report.
So, Justin, on the other hand, is running a much requested list. This actually entire matchup is pretty much a user request matchup from our YouTube channel. He's running the Tyranids with the Skyblight formation.
Yeah, and I pretty much blackmailed everybody into getting an Imperial Knight on this.
It's not much in the line of blackmail.
Yeah.
So Rob is playing a very standard guard list. He's playing a double blob list with Yarick as his warlord.
Yep.
Very good warlord, gives you senior officer as well as being a commissar. So basically his senior officer is allowing him to still cast orders. He's an eternal warrior Toughness 4 Warlord, hard to get. And his Warlord trait makes it so he never has to take casualties for being below 25%, or for taking 25% or more casualties in shooting. Really, really useful.
And it's actually something where you take a look at the list that Justin's running, and pretty much he's going to try and thin out those blobs as quick as possible, dropping templates on them left and right.
Well, between dropping templates and all the no, not Vector Strikes, the Devourers.
Yes.
Because that's 12 shots of Hive Tyrant, and there's 3 of them. That's a lot of shooting.
Yeah, and while Rob can pack a lot of models, as we've seen in the last battle report, I mean, Matt DeFranza brought, what, 150? And they still got thinned out, and they got thinned out by Thunderfire Cannon Fire.
Well, so the trick to it is the Imperial Guard can bring a lot of dudes. But you got to spend an entire game usually killing those guys. And then at the end of the game, you go, well, you just killed a bunch of 3-point models. Congratulations.
Yeah, and you look at Justin's side, and he's bringing those gargoyles out of the Skyblight little formation. And those are guys who you're going to want to get off the table, and they might just come right back.
You got to hope he doesn't roll a 4+.
Yeah.
That's actually a huge problem. So those gargoyles in the Skyblight formation have a special rule that allows them to come back on a 4+. And if they come back with all their upgrades, their exact troop number.
They're free units at that point.
Yeah, except for kill points, basically.
Yeah.
The other problem you run into is they also have another ridiculous special rule that basically states that troops cannot deny them from holding objectives. So
which is absolutely key, because we're looking at 40k right now, and troops are at a premium, and holding objectives is at a huge premium. Now we can see Rob here moving the knight forward, and we see that blob up on the top, a little bit on the right, having to move through terrain.
Yeah, so that's a piece of the area terrain that's in a Nova format. Rob actually only rolls double ones for his move, so that really slows him down. But he opens up his shooting, puts a couple wounds on a Hive Tyrant with the autocannons. The Knight goes ahead and kills some gargoyles. And just starts cleaning up those units. You know, the trick for Rob is going to be kill as many unit troops as possible, deny him from gaining points.
And we can see Rob's moving that Imperial Knight right at the table, and Justin's actually going to move a bunch of guys right there along that line formation to kind of... What is he looking to do there, actually?
Stop that Knight from getting into the backfield and just posing to be an issue. Just kind of slow it down a little bit. He's not going to charge it, but you see he's boxing out his objective there, so he's going to stop anything from potentially denying him. He's
pretty much going to try and control the map. He's going to try and have map presence over Rob.
Exactly. So what he's doing right now is with these concaves is that's exactly what he's doing. Giving himself good board presence, making it so Rob can't just be wherever he wants to be. I mean, he's still scared. He still has strength to close combat. What he's afraid of is potentially getting grounded and charged.
Yeah, that's something that he has to really worry about. These flying monsters, creatures, they're up there and they're safe until they're not.
So Justin goes ahead, starts in the shooting with precision shots, tries to put all the wounds on the priest. Eventually, Rob does fail. Look out, sir.
There's only so many dice you can roll without having some...
Correct. Now, Rob did have a 4-up invulnerable save, but he still failed a look out, sir, and then he failed a 4-up, losing that priest, granting Justin first blood.
Yeah, and that's, as we always talk about during these games, follow your mission and get points based on your mission. First blood's a huge one because it's up for both people.
Exactly. Justin was a little worried with the initial shooting. Night Fight did help him out to stop him from losing that one Hive Time because the other blob was not able to shoot it.
Exactly.
Now, you see Rob just moving forward. He's trying to get as many of his guys out of the cover, trying to establish some board presence himself. Yeah. You know, look at him bubble.
Come in.
Yep, and he's bubble. Well, it's a Vendetta.
Or Vendetta, excuse me.
And he's bubble wrapping that objective as well, so that Justin can't just drop a flying MC on there in flight form and go, oh, I'm stopping you from holding this objective. You're not going to get points.
Justin right now has 4 flying creatures in reserve.
Yes, he deployed every one of his flyers in reserve so that he couldn't get killed by those autocannons. Those autocannons will make quick work, especially if they're on the ground, make absolutely quick work of Hive Crones and everything.
And then something that you guys need to look for is whether or not you're thinking of taking things in reserves. You try and mitigate as many shots from the opponent as you can. If you keep them off for 1 turn, that's 1 turn less of autocannon fire.
Exactly. And, you know, again, with the autocannons wounding on Tuesday, ignoring their armor, the orders allowing them to ignore cover, and him being prescienced, that's just going to murder them. Mm-hmm. So Rob charges into combat with his knight. His Vendetta finishes off one of the Warlord, or not the Warlord, but one of the Hive Tyrants.
Yes.
And this is a very key thing, because that knight is now stuck in combat, which means Crones cannot vector strike it off the board.
It's actually a really smart move from Rob.
Exactly. Rob knows, okay, there's only a maximum of 16 gargoyles. He lights a couple up with his cannon, with his stubborn and everything early and goes, I'm going to get out of this combat in a favorable amount of time, but I'm not going to get Vector Strike. So he's hoping to really force Justin 2 turns of maneuvering away from the Knight before he can react to it.
It's one of those things where you look at your opponent, and one of the things you don't want to do is ever underestimate your opponent, but another thing you don't want to do is give your opponent choices. You want to make them make the choices that you want them.
Exactly. So try to dictate everything. No, I mean, Justin here, he still has 3 flyers on the board. He has 2 of his reserves come in. He's playing real safe with them because of vendettas and autocannons. Those autocannons are a huge problem. I mean, it's ignore cover twin link. If he gets a couple 6s, those are just more essentially free wounds on harpies and crones, and they only have like 4 wounds apiece at toughness 5. That's going to be rough. And here comes his actual another crone here.
Yeah.
And it's just, so crone comes out, gargoyles are moving up. Justin's just continuing to do this whole bubble wrap, stop him from really being able to pressure him with the Knight.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where these blobs, they're going to get across the field eventually. You're going to hope to thin them out, but that Knight has to get in. It has to get its points back. It's a big thing. It takes a few points to field it, but it's one of those things where you got to get your points back in this game. You can't be able to take a unit that doesn't at least kill that amount of points on the other side of the board.
Exactly, and you can afford to be a little reckless with those gargoyles. Now, Justin starts to focus fire.
Yeah, those heavy weapons teams.
Murders the heavy weapons teams because they're instant kills. So even though they have 2 wounds apiece, each one of those wounds
just pops them.
Yep. And it's just 4 up save. It's 12 focus firing, ballistic skill, 4 shots.
And now we're seeing Rob just picking up guys.
Yeah, I mean Rob essentially loses like 40 guardsmen.
It's absolutely
in the span of like a turn and a half. But again, look, see how aggressive he's being with those gargoyles. Those gargoyles are putting pressure on because he can afford to be aggressive because he's a 50-50 shot of them just coming back.
Mm-hmm. It's absolutely crazy. So we now see Rob, I mean, he gets his other flyer in, so he's kind of thinking, where's the place where I can put this? Where can I actually get some wounds on things? I want to knock things out of the air.
Yep. So what he does here is he flies his 1 Vendetta, which was glanced, just flies it all the way over. He's going to fly it over because there's a platoon command squad in there with a heavy flamer and multiple flamers, and he's trying to stop Justin from accumulating points on that battalion objective. Because under that ruin is an objective with 3 warriors on it. So the other Vendetta is lining up its shots on this flyer.
Yeah.
And that one is deep striking via Gravsuit and Shushin, his platoon command squad. Again, contesting the objective, so it stops Justin at the start of his turn from getting that free tick.
Yeah.
And it's, potentially going to kill a couple warriors.
And it's one of those things where Justin now, that's another thing that he has to process during his next turn. Well, I have a command squad back here with flamers and everything and kind of clear out infantry. Do I want to turn one of my flyers in? Do I want to waste a turn trying to fly over them and shoot them? Because that's something that he needs to think.
So, I mean, he was kind of in a mediocre position because most of the Tyranids bugs are going to be able to fly over his 1 Vendetta anyway. So it's actually the perfect play to put his Vendetta that way because now it's not getting vector struck by all 3 of those monstrous creatures. 2 of which are strength 8 vector strikes.
Yeah.
Nor is it going to get shot in the butt by any of those hive turrets that are just chilling over there. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Rob at this point. Rob's doing a great job of killing the troops. And there's a saying that goes on in the team: kill troops, win game.
Exactly.
Now, gargoyles are not troops per se because they don't fill a troop category. However, they are indeed scoring. So
it's one of the special rules that comes along with the Skyblight formation.
Correct.
Actually.
So we beat into people in the team's head. Kill troops, win game. So you'll see a lot of times what people think is an absolutely stupid idea is, well, no, I killed a scoring unit. It's perfectly fine. You can't win the game if you can't score the objectives.
Exactly.
So that's Rob's focus. The problem is the Skyblight formation has too many special rules.
Yeah, and I see just right there at the bottom right corner one of those special rules kicking in.
Exactly. So the Imperial Knight, just as Rob predicted, will get out in a fairly favorable time.
Yeah.
I mean, it could still get vector struck here, but it's kind of in a position where, well, do you want to vector strike me? It's not going to put you in a great spot. Those crones want to go after the vendettas, stuff like that.
And the Knight's doing exactly what it wants to do. It's going to soak up fire, punch things in the face, set things on fire.
Exactly, and look at where it's at. I mean, it's in the middle of the board. If it desplodes, as it's been known, it's not really going to affect any of Rob's models. Another big thing to note is over on that objective, Justin ringed those gaunts out and left a spot for a gargoyle that found a dangerous terrain, landed on an objective, was going to hold it, found a dangerous terrain and died.
Boop.
So now those gargoyle or those gaunts, which were put in the advantageous bubble wrap position, are kind of now not bubble wrap.
So we're going to see here, actually, with those gargoyles coming back, it kind of completely negates that brilliant move from Rob to kind of go take the back objective.
And to stop him from holding it. I mean, it forced the warriors out of place, but there's gargoyles there now. So gargoyles are just going to come in and are just going to shoot it with their pistols.
Yeah.
More gargoyles just laying up. You know, Rob is getting hammered on this one blob.
We see that one blob, it's just...
But look at it. The one blob just took 3 turns of essentially Justin's entire army focusing on it.
Yeah, it's totally durable. One of the problems is once the first blob starts, you get to fire into that second one, and it goes down a lot quicker.
Well, I mean, true. There's no other fact about it. So now, but Justin, my key thing to remember is Justin's down to essentially 1 full gargoyle squad, 1 more gargoyle squad, and then this unit. I mean, Rob's doing a great job of just taking out his troops. I mean, again, it comes down to take out troops, win game. So if he could stop Justin. If he can stop Justin from just
annihilating the second blob,
which he can do with durability. It's got Yarick in it. It's still got a priest in it. Still has a psyker in it. Mm-hmm. So that unit is probably not going anywhere. And a lot of it is bunkered in that building.
And it's one of those things where there's not a whole lot of time left in the game either.
Exactly. So he has to dedicate a whole heck of a lot of time and effort into it, and it's going to be really hard. And, here he goes shooting. He just shoots and eliminates a gargoyle unit. No questions asked. No problem. I mean, flashlights are flashlights, but they still do the job. Yeah. Here's some flamers and everything, just killing it off the gaunts that were wrapped around the building.
The gaunts that are not long for this world when they're right in front of an Imperial Knight.
Nope. So, I mean, is
that... What are they? Why is he putting models under the table in turn 4? Oh, wait, the Skyblight formation.
Yeah, so both of those units are gargoyles. The one that he lost the last guy to with dangerous terrain.
Yeah.
And the unit that Rob just killed.
But Rob gets to bring back all of his guardsmen, right?
No.
Wait, that's not how the game works? You just don't get to put units back on the table? You don't get like 300 points and free models in the 4th turn of the game?
I wish.
Well, it seems to be what the Tyranid list is actually doing.
That's exactly what he's doing. So,
it's so good.
So here you go. Kill troops, win game, and
my troops come back. The funny thing about my troops is that they come back.
Yeah, I mean, no, in the
completely luck-based, and it's something we talked about before. Variance is sometimes a part of the game in 40k. It's one of those things where if Justin doesn't get 2 full units of infantry back, the back objective might have had something. Those guardsmen might have had something to say.
Points. Yeah, exactly. He's no longer scoring points, and now Rob's just scoring the extra points. So that's you're absolutely right. It's variance. I mean, it just as easily could have been, look at that. He passed all 3. He passed all 3 4-up checks, so 50% chance. Well, just got 100%. Well, that means next time Justin plays this list, balance out. We'll have 100%. Yeah. None of them come back.
They're probably not.
But probably not.
There's nothing that you can't really play for that. But what's Rob looking for the rest of this time to do? I mean, because shooting back into his gargoyle squads,
slowing them down. That's all he has left. I mean,
try and make saves on that
blob.
Guys,
that blob really needs to kind of hold its own, and not just get completely evaporated, and just kind of go from there. I mean. It's brutal. It is really, really rough at this point. Look at it. There's just not much left. There goes heavy weapons teams. His Yarick model that he's using is hunkered in. Vector strikes are killing off his vendettas. It's just
an absolute annihilation.
Unfortunately, it's been in an absolute bloodbath and an attrition style game. And with the gargoyles coming back, it gave the Tyranids the edge they needed. I mean, they were losing the game. Yeah, they were losing the game. But all their troops came back. I mean, by turn 3, Rob killed all the troops
that he pretty much had on the table, except
literally he killed the gaunts. He killed all the gargoyles. He killed the warriors. Rob did what Rob needed to do. He just focused on the troops. Gargoyles came back.
Part of Rob's thing is he's going to lose models. If you play Astra Militarum, you're gonna lose models.
Especially if you're going blob style. So, I mean, it's just, at this point, it's kind of autopilot for Justin. He's just cleaning up. I mean, look at that. The blob has nothing left.
If you guys look at the left side of the screen, you can pretty much see the telling point of this game. You see all those guardsmen.
Yep, and you see a bunch of dead gargoyles that are only out of
That
a
are
couple
alive.
squads.
Zombie goils.
They're zombie goyles.
Zombie goyles.
That's a good name.
There
We're
we
not
go.
going to call it Skyblight. We're going to call it zombie goyle.
The zombie goyle Tyranid list. You guys heard it first here.
Yeah. Patented.
Yeah.
Chance patent.
We got
Okay.
all kinds of stuff on that. Don't
But-
use it
So, I mean, it just...
unless you reference us.
Unfortunately, at this point...
Justin's he's a player of a high enough caliber where I don't think he could punt this game if he literally took his army case and put it on his foot and swung.
Correct. So basically, at this point, Justin's actually because those gargoyles came in on the backfield objective there. He's actually up one objective. Mm-hmm. He's actually up like 1 or 2 objective points.
Yeah.
If the game continued, I mean, but unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. You have gargoyles that are just.
The problem is if you keep making those 4 pluses, you will have inevitability because you just have more wounds and more troops than the opponent.
Yeah, exactly. Rob went for the kill troops win game, and
Which
didn't
usually
kill.
pretty
Correct, but didn't kill the monstrous creatures. So because of that, it's not just gargoyles fight; it's monstrous creatures. I mean, Justin does lose a hive tyrant in the back to a close combat, but it's just not enough.